Brace yourself for a frightening journey into the dark side of the restaurant industry. In this video, I'll be sharing 3 bone-chilling tales from real restaurant workers whose jobs quickly turned into blood-curdling nightmares. These shocking true stories reveal sinister criminals hiding in plain sight and the unspeakable horror that unfolded inside otherwise ordinary dining establishments. Stalked in Rio. We begin with the harrowing account of 25-year-old Ana, whose dream trip to Rio de Janeiro's colorful clubs and beaches collided with a real-life psycho-stalker. Ana landed in Rio and spent her first exhilarating nights dancing under the stars at a rooftop venue. There she met James, Ethan and Jess, 3 friendly travelers who welcomed Ana into their group for the next day's sightseeing. After snapping selfies in front of Rio's towering Christ the Redeemer statue, the new friends parted ways so James, Ethan and Jess could attend a concert. Ana ventured off on her own, amusing herself people-watching at an oceanside cafe until hunger drew her towards her rental suite on the city's quieter outskirts. She stopped at a humble restaurant, hoping the English menu meant servers who could understand her fractured Portuguese. As Ana puzzled through the menu, she felt eyes upon her. An older man, around 50, sat alone at the next table, his stare intense and unwavering. Ana looked away uneasy. Moments later, the man leaned over with a slimy smile. "Your Portuguese sounds good," he purred in accented English. Ana squirmed as he rambled on, critiquing her pronunciation one moment, leering about her sexiness the next. The food arrived as a blessed distraction, but Ana's relief sank when her tormentor also produced a plate. She wolfed her meal down in record time while the creep, fork halfway to his mouth, gaped in surprise. Ana seized the chance to escape, rushing from the restaurant without a backwards glance. As she navigated the dark, narrow streets towards her suite, a nagging sense she was being followed nipped at her spine. Glancing back, she spotted him. The man from the restaurant lurked under a street lamp half a block behind. Ana quickened her pace, finally bolting in an all-out run those last few blocks to safety. She locked the door and sank panting to the floor, paralyzed by the terrifying realization that her stalker now knew exactly where she slept. Hours later, Ana cautiously re-emerged for one last Rio night on the town. In the chaos of flashing club lights, she temporarily forgot the earlier horror. She didn't notice the brooding form observing her from across the dance floor, and she stumbled home in the disoriented fuzz of one too many caipirinhas. Fiddling with her keys, something in the shadows moved. A window gaped open, one she vividly recalled closing. Comprehension dawned instantly. The stalker had returned. Ana backed away from the door, pulse jackhammering. One phone call brought squad cars screeching to the curb within minutes. Guns drawn, police stormed the little suite, emerging shortly after with Ana's stalker in handcuffs. Evidence proved he had broken in through the open window and was hiding, armed with rope and duct tape, awaiting Ana's return. Ana flew home the next day, her South American holiday ending on this chilling note. She often replays those petrifying moments when she narrowly escaped the fate the Rio psycho had plotted for her. Ana knows had she blithely entered the suite instead of trusting her instincts, she would likely still be missing today. Wherever Ana travels next, she'll never let her guard down again. For predators walk among us disguised as normal people, wearing pleasant smiles while harboring the most demonic agendas beneath the surface. Ana learned on her Rio trip that a perfect holiday can become the stuff of nightmares in a heartbeat if one crosses paths with a villain. For fellow wanderers and adventure seekers, heed cautionary tales like Ana's, lest you also attract the attention of someone sinister hiding in the shadows. Followed home from work. Our next tale also showcases bravery in the face of evil, highlighting the split-second instinct of one young heroine who saved her from a gruesome fate. The setting is a rundown diner smelling perpetually of rancid grease, manned past midnight by a skeleton staff anxiously awaiting closing time. 19-year-old university student Sarah works the desolate overnight shift twice a week, pocketing much-needed tips from the drifters and oddballs wandering in at ungodly hours. One night, a rowdy group of 4 pushing closing time grated Sarah's last nervy. Rauf and unkempt, they oozed drunken menace. Sarah delivered their heaping plates with a strained smile that slipped entirely when one fixed her with an inappropriate leer. "You doing anything tonight, cutie?" the man slurred, swaying into Sarah's personal space. Sarah stepped deftly away. "Thank you," "Have a good night," she replied evenly, refusing to indulge his advance. His buddies cackled as their rebuffed friend stumbled out. Rolling her eyes in disgust, Sarah quickly cleared their mess so she could finally clock out. Exiting into the icy night, Sarah felt the tiny hairs on her neck prickle. She picked up her pace, cursing herself for not driving to avoid the 10-minute walk home. The sensation of unseen eyes tracking her every movement grew. Breaking into a nervous trot, Sarah's breath caught as heavy footsteps pounded up fast behind her. She whirled to find herself face to face under a flickering street lamp with the drunk customer from the diner. "Don't scream or I'll cut you," the man growled with liquor-sour breath, waving a gleaming knife. Heart exploding, Sarah reacted instinctively. She gouged her fingernails viciously into his eye sockets before whirling away. Howling in shock and agony, her attacker clutched his face just long enough for Sarah to sprint away into the darkness. Nearly faint with panic, Sarah flew the remaining blocks and crashed through her apartment door into the startled arms of her roommates. They listened in horror to Sarah's sobbing account, before bundling her onto the sofa wrapped in blankets. Though the danger had passed, Sarah quaked for hours in the aftermath. Yet traces of the badass inside re-emerged the next morning, when Sarah strode back to the diner and quit on the spot. She refused to spend another minute under their negligent management that left teenage staffers vulnerable walking home late at night near that seedy bar. The burly cooks offered to start escorting the servers to their cars after shifts, but Sarah didn't stick around to see their promises implemented. In leaving the diner behind forever, Sarah reclaimed her power. She still shudders imagining what her twisted stalker might have done had she froze or complied instead of gouging his face. That one gut reaction made all the difference, though her roommates like to joke that Sarah permanently disfigured an innocent drunk who just happened to pick the wrong girl to accost. Either way, the ordeal lit a fire within Sarah to listen to her intuition and fight with everything she had if anyone tried violating her again. For all those small in stature but mighty in spirit, Sarah stands today as living proof that young women can absolutely devastate attackers twice their size when defending themselves. With the right mindset and self-defense skills, we all wield the ability to unleash fury on creeps and criminals who see females as easy targets. Stalked after work. For our final tale of restaurant-related horror, we examine the chilling actions of a delusional stalker, determined to possess his underage object of affection by any means necessary. The setting is a small-town all-night diner, with 19-year-old university freshman Angela working a part-time waitressing job on lonely overnight shifts. Most customers keep to themselves, bleary truckers and insomnia sufferers clamoring only for endless coffee refills. Then there's Trevor, a large balding man who lingers past closing whenever Angela works, attempting to wheedle her number while leaving meager tips. Angela endures Trevor's unwelcome overtures with patient courtesy, internally praying he loses interest. Instead, Trevor becomes further obsessed, returning frequently to flirt aggressively with his cornered prey. Then another waitress gives the unthinkable betrayal by revealing Angela's full name to this obvious stalker. Now furnished with this critical identifying detail, Trevor launches a full-scale harassment campaign. First comes the texts, a barrage of inappropriate messages escalating in their pointed intensity. Trevor boasts of tracking Angela's number down himself as if she should praise this resourcefulness. When she doesn't respond, he turns up in person while Angela cringes. "You don't call, right?" Trevor says, no longer smiling. He looks ready to lunge over the counter and strangle her. A mere day later, Angela discovers a manila envelope tucked under her wiper blade containing photos taken secretly all over town, at work, home, and the gym. The most terrifying show is Trevor peering through the very window of her ground-floor apartment late at night, as she sleeps obliviously just feet away. Visibly shaken, Angela brings the photos to the police. A sympathizing officer phones Trevor with a stern warning to cease all contact or face stalking charges. Angela subsequently quits the diner, haunted by Trevor's piercing eyes following her every move. She crashes temporarily with understanding friends while preparing to relocate from the apartment he infiltrated. Weeks pass without further incident, and Angela finally exhales, hoping authorities have scared off Trevor for good. Still, she vows never again to dismiss safety concerns about overeager customers. For you never know when an awkward suitor may morph into a predator. For late-night staffers, stay vigilant of loitering strangers. Report harassment promptly and use the buddy system. While most patrons are harmless, it takes just one toxic stalker to shatter that illusion. Together we can reclaim public spaces and refuse to cower in fear because of deviance. Find courage from these everyday heroes and know that even nightmares eventually end. Now we leave these restaurant horrors behind, heading out under neon lights towards lighter fare and fresh adventure. Now I hope you liked the video. If yes, then do press the like button and also subscribe for more scary tales.